I assume people would like to have more light later, but some people want to have more light earlier because they don't want to take their kids to school in the dark. And it's a little bit one way, but it's very much a 50-50 issue. And it's something I can do, but a lot of people like it one way, a lot of people like it the other way.
Thanks for sticking with The Big Deal. This Sunday, we will once again enter daylight saving time, where our clocks will spring forward exactly 1 hour. The practice of changing our clocks twice a year is observed in every state except Arizona and Hawaii, and it has been widely debated for decades, with most countries opting out of advancing and winding back their clocks in the spring and in the fall. To understand why America still does this, we have to look back at our history. The practice was first introduced by Benjamin Franklin in 1784, but was not implemented nationwide until World War I as a temporary way to conserve electricity. Congress then brought daylight saving back for 3 years during World War II. A little over 2 decades later, the practice was officially standardized, and it was last updated by Congress in 2005. Now, on the campaign trail last year, President Trump had pledged to eliminate daylight saving time, calling it inconvenient and costly. But as president, he has yet to make a move. He was asked about it again this week.
I assume people would like to have more light later, but some people want to have more light earlier because they don't want to take their kids to school in the dark. And it's a little bit one way, but it's very much a 50-50 issue. And it's something I can do, but a lot of people like it one way, a lot of people like it the other way.
Joining me now to talk more about the politics of daylight saving time is Spectrum News political director Bob Hardt. So now, Bob, why did this idea stick past World War I? I mean, does extending daylight actually sort of conserve energy in some way?
Studies have shown that if it does, it's negligible at best. But that hasn't stopped Congress from tinkering with daylight saving time twice, making it earlier. It used to be in April, and then it was moved to late March, and now it's moved to early March. So Congress twice has moved the date back. It really doesn't show that it has that much of an impact, but it does have an impact on people's health and obviously their sleep schedules.
Well, yeah, I want to talk about that because the opponents of daylight saving time say that there are negative health effects that are linked to losing an hour of sleep. Here's how a AAA spokesperson describes it.
But there's also an issue with fatigue. People often are tired behind the wheel, and when it's dark out, and the time change itself can interfere with people's circadian rhythms. So people tend to be just a little bit more likely to be drowsy after the time change when they're driving, particularly in the afternoon when they're driving home from work after a long day.
And that's not all. I mean, there's upticks in heart attacks and strokes and so forth. It's a pretty good argument to kind of maybe put this practice aside, right?
Right. We tried as a country for 1 year in 1974 to make daylight saving time permanent. So we didn't spring forward. We January forwarded in 1974, and there was anecdotal evidence that there were more accidents. People were taking their kids to school in the morning. You were having like in Buffalo, the sun isn't rising until 8:45 in the morning. And so after a year of that, it got repealed, and now we're back to where we are, springing forward and falling back.
Okay, so now Trump is going to need approval from Congress if he does want to make a move. I think the last time Congress touched this was back in 2022. The Sunshine Protection Act was supposed to make daylight saving time permanent, but it stalled in the House. Lawmakers couldn't decide which time to settle on.
Well, and the president is right. There are people saying, no, we should have standard time permanent. The problem is then you would have sunrises in some place. Like I was looking in Boston in the summer, sunrise would a little after 4 in the morning. So you can definitely see the negative arguments on both sides. But the one thing that everyone would agree on is falling back and springing forward does disrupt people's lives twice a year.
Okay, we'll see how this all works out and if Donald Trump is going to do anything about it. Thanks very much, Bob. Thank you for watching our YouTube channel. Let Spectrum News be your resource for balanced, in-depth political coverage, and click the subscribe button right here. You can also download our app or watch us on TV to learn more about the candidates, where they stand on the issues, and more. We'll see you then.